Greetings, everyone. Thanks for joining us in today's session. This training is brought to you by Miramore Consulting. We are an accounting and tech-driven firm located here in Lagos State, Nigeria. For inquiries, you can call the number 0906848,000. And also, you can visit our website on www.miramore.com.ng, or you can use an alternative http://miramore.com.ng. All right, so let's get straight to business. My name is Williams, and I'm excited to have you here. For today's session, we'll be looking at an interesting aspect in data analytics or analysis, known as data storytelling. It's good to mention that data storytelling is a very important skill which every data analyst must be well acquainted with. Before I proceed, we cannot delve into data storytelling without understanding what data analytics are. Time to time, I put it straight up to participants that when it comes to data analytics, data analysis, that they are all terminologies that have same goals. The different tools also have same goals, whether it is Python, whether it is SQL, whether it is Tableau, whether it is anyone it might be, either Microsoft Excel, any of these tools, they all have same goals. And what is that goal? The goal is just to be able to turn raw data into meaningful information. And that's why data analytics or analysis is the process of being able to turn raw data into meaningful information. And as you know, that data is at the heart of all those tools. And that's more reason why at the end of your analysis, it is expected that you're able to present this data you've analyzed to management or to the respective authority to whom you were being assigned to carry out your analysis. So it is at this juncture we will now proceed to data storytelling. For those of you who are joining this class for the first time, it's good to know that there are different types of data analytics. We have the descriptive analytics, which looks into what has happened in the past. We have the prescriptive analytics. We have the predictive analytics, when you're looking into what might happen. That's predictive. We have prescriptive. We have diagnostic. We also have the 6 steps every data analyst must follow. You just need to enroll for our training programs so you don't miss those interesting and interactive aspects, because those are what I normally refer to as the building block. When it comes to data analytics, the truth is that there are building blocks. Those are the ingredients which every data analyst must be acquainted with. Okay, so that's just by the way. So let's move straight. So what you're going to learn in today's class are all stated here. In today's class, at the end of the training, you will have an understanding of what a data story is. You will also have an understanding of what data storytelling is. Like I said in one of our classes, that data story and data storytelling are not the same. They are different. In as much as they are different terminologies, they have different meanings. Okay, so I'm going to show you in today's class so that next time when you're in that interview or when you're given any opportunity, you will be able to stand out. And we're also going to look at Why is telling a story with data important? Remember, data can be anything. Me and you can have a discussion. Maybe we're gisting about a football match or an election that took place. That can be data to an analyst. So data can be anything. I am not a fan of defining data, that data can be defined as this. No, data is anything. Data can be anything. It can be a discussion that we might be having. It can be anything. So why is it now important for us to tell a story with data? We're going to look into that. I'm also going to put you through on the 5 tips for an effective data story. This is very important because I have trained participants who happen to come across opportunities. Like in Canada, there is one in Canada, there's another in the UK, and it was these tips that made it easier for them to be able to actually achieve that which they seek for. And that's part of what we do right here in Miramore Consulting. In all our training programs, to ensure that you are properly trained and certified on the skills you come to enroll here for. And we have made that possible through our different initiatives, as well as our mentorship programs, which are all being put in together. And that's why our slogan is giving you more of what you want. So I'm going to put you through on those 5 tips for an effective data story. And also, lastly, we'll be looking at how to tell a story with data. How can you tell a story with data? It's very important. A lot of you don't know how to tell a story with data. And it's just like those of you who are undergoing your masters in the UK, in Canada, in the US, in Scotland, and other countries. Time to time, when you're doing your research reports, you might be given, is there the result sections where you have to analyze data, which could be either you're using the primary, which is majorly primary through your and the exploratory analysis, but the initial, which have to involve you using questionnaire designs. Okay, so at the end of the day, you must be able to do the interpretations in line with the assumptions. And this whole thing is also part of the storytelling. So how do you tell a story with data? We're going to look into it in today's session. So I want you to pay attention. The whole slides are there for you to always revisit for reference purpose. So take this class serious. I'm going to put you through this blue point I've provided. Find the story within the data, consider your audience, determine what data matters, analyze data and find insight, identify the most effective data visualizations, provide context, structure your story, edit until the story is clear and concise. So ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, let's proceed. Okay, so what is a data story? Now, before I ponder into this, well, now, analyzing data is no longer just for the data team. Let me clear that, because some persons think data analytics or analyzing data is just for one category of people. No, that time, that era have changed. We are now in a digital era. When more people are able to analyze data within an organization, that organization generally performs better. You can go and find out. Just go to any organization that you know that people there are able to analyze data. That organization performs better. Just go and find out. You will confirm this thing that I'm saying. Now, however, finding insight is just the first step in driving change in those organizations. Insight is important, and that's why management have understood this. They are no more interested in bulky reports. They want something that is easy for them to understand and derive insight from, so as to be able to make decisions. And this is one of the purpose of data analysis or data analytics. So the real value comes when people can use insight, when management can use insight, when businesses can use insight to weave a narrative that drives action and makes a tangible impact in the organization. So what is then a data story? Now, from our slide here, you can see it clearly that a data story is a narrative that is constructed around a set of data that puts it into context and frames the broader implications. Now, what I want you to understand here is this, that some of us are conversant with business intelligence. It's part of a skill you must know as a data analyst, business intelligence skill. Okay. We also have the other one, data science. These are important aspects. Now, unlike business intelligence and data science that emphasizes the technical task of turning data into insight, a data story, what data story now does is that it brings those insights that business intelligence tools, data science tools have turned into insight. Data story now brings these insights. It's just like finished products. It now brings it together with what we call qualitative analysis and domain expertise. Why? Why is data story doing this? We'll look into it. That's more reason why you should stay attentive and follow up. Now, one of the reasons a relevant business goal. Every business have a goal. And for the business or for they to be able to understand in terms of relevance of the business goal or objective, data story is needed, as it's going to be that tool that brings all the insights together. So this is what data story is all about. Now let's look into data storytelling. Now, data storytelling is the skill to craft the narrative by leveraging data. You know what I mean by leveraging, which is then contextualized and finally presented to an audience. It is that skill that utilizes not only data analysis and statistics. No, that's why some people get it wrong. They thought that data storytelling only looks into the analysis and statistics aspect. No, it goes more further into data visualization. And that's where tools like Power BI, Tableau, they come to play, and other ones like Clivia and others. Okay, so it utilizes not only data analysis and statistics, but also data visualization, qualitative and contextual analysis, as well as the interpretation of all these various analyses. So this is what data storytelling is. Now, the big question people often ask is, why is data storytelling, or why is telling a story with data important? Remember, data is everywhere. People just don't know the importance. Now, let's look into why is telling a story with data important. Now, you must know this, that telling a story with data is important because it allows you to put that data into a context of a broader objective, and also to be able to use tools such as Power BI, such as Tableau, SQL, Python, and so many of them. Microsoft Excel, the common one. It helps you to be able to use all those tools to help break down the results. And the purpose of this is so that the audience, regardless of their background, we have Rapidner tools and so many of them. So the reason is so that the audience, the management, regardless of their background, their experience, their area of expertise, can easily understand this data and their implications. So this is one of the reasons why telling a story with data is important. Now, telling a story with data is also important because data storytelling helps to explain data to people of different learning styles. The way you learn and the way I learn is not the same. I may be a fast learner. You may be a fast learner. That's good. You may be a fast learner. I may not be a fast learner. Maybe before I understand something, it will take me maybe 5 hours, whereas you, just as you watch, you've captured it. These are different learning and different way of actually getting to understand things. People have different learning styles. People love reading and studying in the night, some during the day, and so on. So data storytelling helps to explain data to different kind of people with different preferences, people with different ideas, people from different backgrounds, different races, different learning styles, and allows you, the analyst, to craft the communication. That's why we say data storytelling is the skill to craft the narrative by leveraging data. So you can see that it allows you to craft the communication methods to the respective audience or management. For instance, let's say there's this learner who knows how to speak. Okay, you know, back then in the university, some of us were very good when it comes to debates. Even in our secondary schools, I was good a bit, but I stopped it when there was a particular time I represented my school, the males, but due to stage fright, we came second. So you can see that the confidence was not there at that time in terms of speaking out, in terms of presentation. But let's now do a little comparisons. For instance, someone who can speak very well, who can carry out presentation very well. Compare that person with someone else who may require more trainings. You know, there are people who understand when they see illustrations. There are those who can just read and look at the thing and understand. So that's just where I'm coming from. So if, for instance, we have these two categories of people, one who have the confidence or who can understand something immediately, and the other, the opposite, who requires more data visualizations and others. And we have people like this in the organizations. Yes, most of the management there, some of them, they need data that is well broken down for them to actually get insight and understand what's going on. So in general, a good data story, what I'm trying to say is that a good data story will include a combination of these various components so that a diverse audience can stay engaged and not feel boring or feel lost. So this is one of the reasons why it's important. Now, talking about this, you know, I've been making mention of data visualizations. Please, data stories and data visualizations are not the same thing. Data stories, most cases, people think they are the same thing and try to interchange them. No, they are not the same thing. I know that in data visualization, you visualize your data using all those visual tools like the bar chart, you use the donut, the composition tree, the matrix, the tables. You can even use the one that acts as AI, which I'm going to show you in this class, the one that acts as like AI, which is a question and answer feature, which is powerful. Instead of doing the dragging method, you can actually use that. Okay, you can even use it to perform some slicer kind of analysis. And of course, you know, that in as much as data visualization is concerned, there are 6 types of data visualizations. We have the 6 types of data visualizations, which are broken down to the 6 types of visuals, where we have the comparison visuals and others, which are very important that you know these different types of visuals. So you know where this one comes in and so on when you're performing your analysis. But here's the point. Data stories and data visualization are not the same thing. So don't compare them, please. Data visualization is only just one piece or one aspect of data story. And what it does is that it is used as an instrument to tell a broader story. That's what data visualization is doing. It is one aspect of data stories. Now, get this. Data visualization delivers various points in a narrative. It helps deliver various points in an analysis. But data storytelling also goes more further by relying on the industry, relying on communication skills, relying on experiences to help craft the data analysis and visualization that you have done into something that can explain 4 things I'm going to mention now, into something, when you're visualizing, you're going to build what we call an interactive dashboard. Fine, that's not data storytelling. Because data storytelling, like I said, involves your skills to help craft the data analysis and those visualizations into something that can explain 4 key things, that can explain the who, you can call it 4 W's, the who, the what, the why, and we can also add how of a broader story. For instance, let's say we are all working in a company called ABC Nigeria Limited. Permit me, for those of you who are not Nigerians, I'm going to use Nigeria for our examples. That's how I do in all our classes. Now, let's say we have this firm called ABC Nigeria Limited, and they're actually into distribution of certain products. Now, let's say, in Nigeria, we have different seasons. And these also some of the factors that might affect the performance too, because depending on, it now comes into we trying to identify or to know what kind of products do this company offer or sell. Are they seasonal type of products like jackets, which we know jackets will always will be in demand more during rainy seasons. So you could create a series of data visualization around the change in sales over those seasons or over those time for that specific product such organization might be dealing on. Now, the visualizations may make it clear that there is a change occurring in the trend of the sales. But a data story would allow you to put this into context of broader themes. For example, marketing is a data story that will lead to all this, that, we need to carry out more marketing campaigns or activities. We need to look into more means of enhancing our delivery method of our inventories and so on. So you can see and agree with me that data visualization and data story is different. So please take note. Now, let's look into the 5 tips for an effective data story. Or we have 4 here. Okay, we have 4 tips here for an effective data story. The 4 tips for an effective data story. Now, the first is visuals are necessary. And I'm sure you know what we mean by visuals. Visuals are necessary. Whenever you're telling a data story, always know that visuals are necessary. For example, the company ABC Nigeria Limited, I just use as an illustration. We have seen that visualization plays a good role in terms of looking at some of those comparisons for change in sales and time. Now, we can then say that those visuals used are a great way of representing those high volume of what we call big data into a way that quickly comprehend it and make it easier to understand to the viewer. Now, you must know that these visualizations are likely what most viewers are going to anchor on when you are doing your presentation. I'm serious. That's what they will be looking at. Let's take a quick example. Right here is the Power BI application. We are going to do a quick analysis for this company called ABC Nigeria Limited. So I'm just going to move to a new page. Now, I want you to look at this field section. This Power BI, I'm not going to spend much time going into this. You've all already gone through this lesson. We have passed this syllabus. Now, look at the field section in Power BI. You can see the data set that we have, sales data, and you can see all the columns in that data, in that database. If we go to the data view to get more in-depth understanding of what this data for ABC contains, we can also be able to view that all those informations. Let's look into it. Now you can see the data. You can see with me that ABC provided this information. Please, ABC is just an example. Or should I use Miramore? Okay. Let's say the company is Miramore Trading Company. These are the data for the year 2018, and we are asked to provide an analysis. They want to know their performance with various metrics. Now, for them, they want us to compare between the 4 quarters that we have. We have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 in a year. So in 2018, they want to know which quarter did they generate more revenue. This column is for date column, which contains the year. The quarter column, you can see Q1, Q2, Q3, and you can even scroll down. So this data have large volume, big data. Category, quantity of the product sold, categories, can see they have different categories. Now, how do you check the categories immediately? You filter. That's why we have this button. So if I click on the filter button, I'm going to expect that Power BI provides that short window so I can be able to sort out those various categories of the product lines. So please just flow with me. Same goes with the model. Now for ABC, they have three categories. Their product have three categories. They have the smartphone, they have the headphone, and they have the tablet. The smartphone, the headphone, and the tablet. Now, each of these categories comes up from different brands that they deal on. Now, this Miramore trading company, let's say it deals on phone accessories. That data explains it because this data is for a phone accessory business. And as a company, we are told that this company deals on different brands of phones, which you will see, like the Samsung. If we come to brands, you see the Samsung. You can see that for the brands of phone they deal on, we have the Apple, we have the HTC, the Huawei, the Lenovo, the Oppo, the Samsung, the Skullcandy. These are the brands. For their categories, we have the three categories I made mention of: headphone, smartphone, tablet. So the company wants to know, between these categories, which one did they generate more revenue? It's your duty as an analyst to analyze and tell them. That's where visuals are necessary if you are following with the tips for an effective data story. These phones also have different models. What do you mean by model? Samsung have Galaxy J2, it's a model. It has another model, Galaxy S10 Plus. Apple, which is one of the brands, have its own models, iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, and so on. You have to analyze and show them which of these models are people patronizing or purchasing, so they can make more, know how they spend and what they should be, ordering. Okay, it's very important to them. And lastly, they want you to look into their sales. They want to know their overall sales. And in Power BI, we have the DAX and programming language, which stands for data analysis expression. You can use it, or if the computation have already been done, as it is here like this, that's already been done. What you just do, you just go straight and do your analysis to derive the total sales using a visual we call cards, and you get your job done. So I'm just going to do this illustration, then we go back. In the next 5 minutes, we should be done. So now we have seen the data. We know what's happening now. So now let's come over here. First thing first, they want to know the category, performance, the brands, and sales. I will come over here. For those of you, you know the different methods. It's either you go and open a visual, which I no more advise. You can come or click on the bar, clustered bar chart. We say we want to compare, we want to know the brands and all the sales, the amount of sales generated. So we know which brand did you generate more revenue. So I'll select brand. I also come and select sales. It's either I do it that way or I drag it into this visualization section. So you can see it here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it here. That Apple, sorry, is tiny. That's where formatting visual comes in. Even the bar can be changed. So I love changing that bar. So let me come to format visuals bars. And let me come to change this bar. Let's use red. Let's see. Okay, is this giving more? Okay, insights. All right, so we can also change this text. Those ones is going to fall under the values section. So we can also go to general and we'll come to titles. If we come to title, we can change this title above. You can come over here, you can see the title sum of sales by. So the text format is short, so we can increase it. You can see it. We can bold it. We can also change the text color to something like blue. Then we can also centralize it. So you can see that data analysis is interesting. You can see. Same way, you can also take care of those texts by the side. Okay, those texts by the side. It's also important that you also work on them because it's very important. It's very important. Trust me, it's very important. Like from the y-axis, can see the text are small, so I'm going to increase those texts, even the grid lines that are there. So I'm just going to do the two method, then we proceed because we don't have much time. All right. So this is for color. Can change that color too. So maybe something like this. I just want something sharp, something sharp. So let me also change this to this bold font. I think that one is not even sharp. Let's use here's this green color. Okay. I think this is somehow okay. All right. So like I was saying, you can see now that we have the sum of sales by brand. And that Apple have the highest sales. If you want to view it, carry your cursor to Apple. You see Apple have the highest sales. Followed by Huawei, followed by Samsung, followed by HTC, followed by Lenovo, followed by Oppo, followed by Skullcandy. Now, if you want to see the amounts appear on each of the bars, I will always advise you to go and format your visual on what we call data labels, because that's a label. It's off, so I will turn it on. I'm in the visualization section. So can you see the amounts are now displayed on it? Let me increase this. Let me even zoom this. Can you see the amounts are now displayed on it? 17.4 million for Apple and so. But I might say, or you may be told to make it clear. Clarity is important here. So it's also expected that you try as much to ensure that those amounts are also stated in full, not just 3.1 million, 1.4 million, and so on. So I can decide that, oh, what if I try to change those values? So I'll come over here, display units. I will change it to what? To none. So it will be in full. And I can also edit this very information here. Okay. For the amount itself, let me just put it in black. Okay. And also change the font to something thicker, like Arial Black, and also increase it. So you can see the respective amounts for this company. Can you see this? Can you see this? This is interesting, right? Good. So at this juncture, I can reduce this. So we have just provided an in-depth analysis using visualization. That's why I said visuals are necessary. They are necessary. So I've just done that right here. So you can see the sum of sales by brand. Now, we can also say they want to know the sum of sales by category of this product. For that one, if you don't want to use this dragging methods we have been doing here, you can use an artificial intelligence feature that Power BI visualization tool also provides. It's also called the question and answer. Instead of dragging, I can just come here, double click inside here. This feature appears. I type what I want. Can say category sales in donut visual. Enter. Then I hit this arrow. And that's it. It provides that information for me. And here I can see the different categories. You can see the blacks are all smartphone, meaning smartphones sold, followed by the greens, which are what? So as I was saying, that's with this visual, which I say visuals are necessary. You can see that if we come close to the bar, smartphone have the highest generated revenue for sum of sales, followed by tablets, followed by the lowest was headphones. So if you happen to be one of the, or the manager or the CEO of this company, which would you want to invest more on? You say smartphones, because that's what people are actually buying. So can you see the way visualization is now doing what? Representing this high volume of data, or of course representing it into a way that is quickly understandable to the management or to the person or to the audience or the person viewing it. And that's why I said that these are what most of those audience are going to anchor on when you are doing your presentation. Is this not interesting? So it's either you use the dragging method or you use this other method, which has to do like behave like the AI, just like ChatGPT. Yeah, we'll call it question and answer. So the same way you can do this same one, this sum of sales we did here, you can also do it. After I click on the tiles, okay, let me say I also want to analyze same sum of sales by brand, and I don't want to go over there and drag it. What will I do? I will come over here, okay? I will come over here and double click inside the canvas. This is one of the building blocks. Call this section here, the canvas. Then I will type in here. I just want to use this method to still perform that first analysis. I will say brands sales in, let me use, what should I use to do this? Let me use funnel, brand sales in funnel. Enter. And also what? This arrow by the side. Can you see the bar is, this is a black bar, which you can also change. But can you see it's the same thing? 17 million for Apple. Apple came first, followed by Samsung, HTC, Lenovo, Oppo, Skullcandy. So it's either you want to drag or you want to use this simple AI format to do your analysis in Power BI. I can say, okay, I want to delete this. I'll click on these three dots and say remove. Now, if I want to bring out same bar as this, the clustered bar, I will just come here and also click. Then I will put, so it will not look as if it's not the same. I will say brand sales in clustered bar. Clustered bar chart. Enter. Then I must hit this arrow. So what do you observe? Is it not the same? It's the same. The same analysis, the same results rather. And why is it so? It's because I use this simple shortcut method of the question and answer AI to pop it up. Then it's not left for you to do your editing, change the bar color, the text format to ensure everything is arranged. You can even remove the grid lines that are inside. Most times I advise you don't use the straight grid line. You can either use the dotted line to actually be able to do that. So ladies and gentlemen, visuals are necessary. Visuals are necessary. Let's do the last question. So this is not part of it. So let me just remove this one. I'm just going to click on these three dots, remove. So I believe you're learning. And you can see data analysis is interesting. So now, we're told this is the sum of sales by category. This is the sum of sales by brand. So category, we can also decide to do the edit. Okay, so I just don't want to waste much of the time. With something following how I did this, take that as an assignment, edit and arrange this perfectly. Now, you can also say we have gotten the sales by brands. We have known the sales by category. We want to know lastly, the models, sales and their model. Same way, I will just come and use my simple AI tool here and type in model name by sales. Model name by sales. And let me use the clustered bar chart. Enter. Then I click on this arrow by the side. So you can see the model name. So let me just change this everyone. Let me change the bars to blue bar. More colors, in case you're looking for more colors. Enter. More colors. Is this color okay? Okay. So this is for the grid lines. Peradventure, we wanted to remove the grid lines. So we can see that I am turning on the data labels. Okay. So it's telling us that in all the brands we have, iPhone XS generated the highest sales, 10.8 million, followed by Nova 3, 7.6, followed by Mate, followed by Note 9, iPhone XS Max, followed by, and so on. And you can even bring this down, that you get to see it clearly. Get to see it clearly. So you can see our bar have changed. You can see. So this is the sum of sales by model name. So for that one, you also use the method we did to edit and centralize it. You know what we did? Go to general, come to title, because that's the title column or title heading. Change it to a bolded format. Then change the color. Change the color. And select this one, color be red. Then you come down to do what? Centralize it. And also increase the font size. So this is the font size, ladies and gentlemen. This is the font size. So you can see sum of sales by model name. For this one, I gave you assignments. Do it. Sum of sales by, we can also increase it by category. Let me do it at once. So I can also change this to bold. Bold. I can also come over to change this. Okay, so let me centralize it. So you can see sum of sales by category, sum of sales by brand, sum of sales by model name. Lastly, let's look into the aspect of the quarters. We want to know between the 4 quarters, how was their performance? So I can also use my AI tool, question and answer AI tool, come here and say, Power BI, I want you to analyze quarters in what? Slicer. Then I say enter. Then I click on this arrow. Ladies and gentlemen, automatically it brings it for me. So you can see the quarter in a visual tool we call the slicer. So you can see it here, and I will not want to adjust the slicer because I am happy the way it is. You can see the way it is in terms of the drop down, but the write-up is small. So you go to format your visual. When you come there, you come to values, increase it. Okay, I think that's better now. So you can increase it the more, and say let's put it at 40. Okay. So we can see the different quarters. So we can also make it bold. We can also decide to change the text to this. So you can see for the different quarter 1, quarter 2, and so on. So you can do a lot of changes. You can do a lot of edits and modification. Okay. So yeah, we have just done this for the column headers. It also needs to be increased. So let me also bold it. Let me also increase the boldness. So put this in 30. Okay. Okay. So you can see the quarter and so on. Okay. So same way, don't forget, if you wanted this to show full amounts, you go to data labels after selecting the tiles. Now, we have answered that problem for this firm. They wanted to know the sum of sales by brand, the sum of sales by category, the sum of sales by model name. They also want to know the quarter. So if, for example, we say we want to present this for this product called Apple, how much did we realize? The company realized in 2018, quarter one for Apple. What do? I'll just click on Apple bar. When I click on it, automatically it changes everywhere here. But the section of quarter is not yet changing. Why? Because we did not analyze it by sales. So that's why I will also come to select sales. So that it can show me the respective amounts for different quarters. So you can see right here, for quarter one, we made this, quarter two, quarter three, and for quarter four. Let me reduce this 01. Let me increase this. Okay, so you can see this information here. Now, the good thing is this. They want to know their overall sales. And under, we have the overall sales as 4.10 here. But there is a visual called the cards that gives you more in-depth analysis on how to view the overall total in your analysis. So what do? I'll go and use the cards. When I bring the cards here, the cards visual, I can then come and reduce. Now, if I don't want to do this reducing method or dragging method, I can just double click on the canvas and write. I say total sales. So I just say sales because I've already computed the total sales in cards. I say enter. Then I hit on this. So you can see two ways. Either you drag the visual from the visualization tools there, or use the question and answer AI tool. So you can see the total sales is 49 million. And that's what we have here after adding all the quarter. If you want it full to show fully, some companies want it full. So come to Format Visual after selecting the tiles. Click on Call Out. We have our call out value. Click on it. Come down to Display Unit. Change it to none. So it's going to display the full amount. This display space is small. That's why it's not okay. So you can see the full sales, the full overall sales using the cards. So ladies and gentlemen, this way we have completed this analysis. What is now left is just to edit the canvas. Okay, that's just what is left. So now that we have done this, what do we do next? What next? Now, if I'm following the fact that visuals are necessary and that they are a great way, all these visuals you're seeing are a great way to represent high volume of data into a way that is quickly understandable and easier to accumulate. If, for example, I want to know for Apple, how was the sales for categories in Apple, the model names in Apple, the quarters, how much did we generate from Apple for the respective quarters? Which quarter did we sell more Apple? I'll just click on Apple bar. You can see it sends an interactive message across that iPhone XS sold, followed by iPhone XS Max. You can see the differences. You can also see the sum of sales in quarter one. This was what realized from Apple, followed by quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and this. If we go to the last product or Oppo, we can also see the performance of Oppo. You can see it dropped to 251,000. Okay. If you also go to Skullcandy, you can see that for Skullcandy, you can also see that for Skullcandy, there's also going to be a low sales on that. You can see it's 62,000, 40,000, and so on. So this is just what I was trying to point out to you. And it's good to note that it is important to pick the visuals that best represent the insight and present clear evidence of the points you're trying to make. And that's why we have 6 types of visuals. We have the comparison visuals and others. If I want to know the performance for Samsung, I'll just click on Samsung bar. It sends a message. If I want to know for Lenovo, same thing, it sends a message. So it's one of the tips for an evidence data story is what? Visuals. Visuals are necessary. That's one of the tips. Now, tip 2. I'm going to be very fast here. For tip 2, we said create a clear narrative. Now, in the end, data storytelling is a form of presentation. And therefore, you should strive for telling a clear narrative that the audience can easily follow. Speak clearly and slowly and avoid irrelevant points, making irrelevant points. Just like that data we have done. As a data storytelling now, you come and do the presentation. So it's important that for you to be effective as a data storyteller, you must make sure that you speak clearly and slowly, your interpretation are done clearly. Relevance is key. Now, data stories are often packed with information. That's one thing you should know, you must know. And therefore, you should only include points that are relevant to your core aspects. Otherwise, it's going to bring up with a distraction. Data must be timely. Now, you must know that trends and correlations can change quickly. Therefore, you should use the most up-to-date data possible to ensure that the analysis is fresh and not telling an outdated story. These are the 4 tips of an effective data story. So lastly, how do I tell a story with data? Yes, I've known the tips. I've known what data story is, data storytelling is, differences. How do I tell a story with data? It's going to be a quick one, so just flow with me. Don't forget, those of you who might watch through our YouTube channel, ensure to subscribe, please, in order to stay tuned for more of our valuable content. And one good thing is that when you have subscribed, each time we post or upload our training videos, you will also be notified. How do you tell a story with data? 1, find the story within the data. Find the story within the data. Now, you must know that before constructing a data story, you must first determine what the data is actually telling you. Every data always have a message. So you must first of all find out what is the data actually telling me. For example, like the previous ones I gave before, you will see into that examples that it provides a starting point into building a data story that can be conveyed to a larger and potentially technical, diverse audience. 2, consider your audience. The next thing is always to determine who the story will be conveyed to and what their backgrounds are. It is important in determining the technical complexity of the analysis and what components of the story the listeners will want to learn about. 3, you must determine what data matters. The truth is that modern businesses collect so much information that determining which data sets are most relevant to the broader narrative can be challenging. In general, it's important to start by identifying the data that can inform these various aspects. And of course, you will want to explore instead of looking at all the possible data available. Let's say you're planning on telling a story about a customer experience, then product usage data, sales data, and customer data may all be relevant. But employee experience that the key points do not get diluted and that listeners or readers do not get distracted. So it's important that you determine what data matters. You need to analyze data and find insights. We have talked about this relating to visualization. You have to dig deep into relationships and patterns which can help provide the general themes of data story. You need to identify the most effective data visualization. Like I said, that data visualizations are a powerful way to help an audience understand data concepts. However, there are so many different types of visualizations. So it's important to pick one that best represents your data, just as we have done over here below. So if you're not sure about what visualization best represents your data, then it means you have to look into it again to be able to critically, examine the whole data. You need to provide context because data on its own is not enough to create an optimal data story. So you must provide context and data insights together. Structure your story. Telling a traditional story often includes providing an introduction, a rising action that builds tension through problems, climax that provides a crucial moment or insight. So it's important that you structure your story. And it's very important. Lastly, how to tell a story with data. You must edit until the story is clear and concise. When presenting a data story, regardless of the different aspects, it is important that the story is clean, and that's where data cleaning comes in. It's clean to avoid errors, which is very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, trust me, you're good to go with all you need to know about data storytelling. Thanks for watching. Please endeavor to put everything into practice. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Channel name is Williams Miracle YouTube channel. Thank you and stay blessed. So if you have any question, the number is above 0906848,000. If you're interested in enrolling on our training programs, you can also reach us through that number. Training is brought to you, don't forget, by Miramore Consulting. Thank you. See you in our next session on SQL joins. Don't miss it.